The earlier report by the Auditor-General Tsakani Maluleke, who presented key outcomes of her office's annual probe into the financial status of South Africa's 257 municipalities. She said that nobody really knows for sure what happened to around 5.5 billion rands in funds sent by national government to 22 of the country's most opaque municipalities, and of course this includes the Northwest Province. Theo Venter is a political analyst and he's a lecturer at the Northwest University. Thank you so much for speaking to us, much appreciated. So let's just first start with the vote in the NCOP and why it is that the Democratic Alliance and Freedom Front Plus would say they disagree with the vote. What are your thoughts about this?
Aye, well, if you listen to the debates, both the Freedom Front Plus as well as the DA were basically criticizing the lack of progress. And I think that's why they've decided not to support the continuation of the intervention. Now, there's a very good point that since 2018, when this started, the province is still under administration, Section 100, several sub-clauses. It's really the first province that has been placed under full administration. Previously, Limpopo and the Eastern Cape had similar interventions, but those were for specific departments that failed to operate. Here we've got a major province that has problems, and I think that is basically the issue. They expected more things to happen, but I think there's a good explanation why progress in this province is taking so long. The turnover or the replacement of Supramai Mapelo as Premier with Mr. Job Mogoro was a very important point. And when you replace somebody at the top of an administration, it doesn't mean you replace everybody. There are still people with all different kinds of loyalties functioning in the province, and I think it usually is going to take much longer to bring progress and to bring stability in the province. And I think there is some way in which progress has been made, except in local government. In local government, this province is really not looking good, as you've mentioned, the report of the Auditor-General.
I mean, even the president himself said that the Northwest has collapsed. So I'm just trying to understand, in terms of Section 100, and the agreement per these parties is that not much progress has been made, but I think this is the agreement from all political parties. So in terms of Section 100, what then ought to happen if it's been approved and the other parties don't agree? Would then another form of action be taken?
Okay, let me just give a little bit background about the NCOP. The NCOP is the legislative body that has the authority to approve interventions in provinces. This is not the work of the National Assembly. And whenever you place a report like this one of the ad hoc committee by its chairman, Mr. China Dodovo, that's coming from this province, before the NCOP, all that is needed is a debate, which took place for about 4 hours today, and then an acceptance of that report, which happened. And the final decision of the NCOP, which is the final decision, doesn't matter what the smaller political parties are saying, the final decision is that the intervention must continue. Now, the Premier also spoke early in the debate and indicated that there is programs and plans to bring the province back to normality. The difficulty with the local government intervention, that is of course done in different sections of the Constitution, like Section 139 and 152 and so on. And you will remember that there was a court case in the Northwest where, and it was the municipality of J.B. Marks, Potchefstroom, that said, how is it possible for a province that is under administration to bring a local government under administration. It's almost as if it is a conflict of interest or a paradox. But it works differently. The province is actually managed or overseen by what is called the IMTT. It's the Interministerial Task Team led by Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. They meet from time to time, and there's also an administrator that works directly under them. So there is a very important level of crossing of the silos. In other words, co-departmental activity in the Northwest to bring the Northwest up to speed, especially departments such as health, local government, infrastructure, the roads. There's several departments there where we had a really departmental failure that is currently being placed in progress.
Mr. Venter, what I also want to understand, so there's an agreement that there's been a slow pace of process, and what we're seeing here is national intervention at provincial level. And why is that then failing? What can happen now? If you look at the fact that, for instance, 582 million rand of 697 million rand could not be accounted for in the Dr. Ruth Mampati district municipality, the fact that in Lichtenburg, Clover, which was one of the biggest employers, pulled out because it was saying that the municipality was basically non-functioning because of council failures. So why is it so difficult to rein in some of this fruitless, wasteful expenditure and just to get these municipalities working? Of the 22, 7 of those are in the Northwest Province.
Yeah, a lot of people is asking that question, and one of the problems we're having sits in the Constitution. The Constitution determines that the third level of government has a fairly sizable level of autonomy. In other words, they can do certain things which they can choose to do. Province's role is to monitor and to guide and to advise and to intervene when it's necessary. But province cannot tell local governments what to do and what not to do. There's an elected council, and when you have dysfunctionality in the ruling party, such as in the Northwest, you have Lichtenburg, the Dietsebotla municipality that you just mentioned, where at one point they had 3 mayors. Can you believe that? Where nobody knows who's running the case. And I think Clover, the withdrawal of Clover, is just the tipping or the tip of the iceberg. There's several companies in the Northwest that is seriously considering whether they can function in dysfunctional municipalities. The same problem we've got in the Free State with a place like Maluti Apofung and Koster in the Northwest. So yes, I think there is a serious need, not only in the Northwest, but nationwide, to re-look at the functionality of local government. It is not working like it was set out to work in 1996 when we started this current project.
Thank you so much for your time and your insights. Theo Venter, political analyst and lecturer at Northwest University.